Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Today we're here at Photopia in Chromeland, the analog corner at the fair in Hamburg, Germany, with Giles from Harman Technologies that makes Ilford photo, let's say, products like the photography, the wet photography products.
Black and white.
Yes, black and white.
Absolutely.
So we're here at the fair, and please let everybody know what it is that you do there, and then we can start with some questions.
Sure. So I'm one of the directors of the business at Harman Technology, and I'm responsible for all of the sales and marketing. So that's everything externally that we do outside the company.
So outside the production, when the rolls and the paper and everything is finished, everything that goes after it gets on a truck, basically.
Yeah.
Or I guess you know where the truck has to go.
Yeah, absolutely. All of that.
Okay. So first of all, I would love to ask about how have you noticed like sales and the interest of the photography market, because everybody's talking about this resurgence. Obviously, Ilford Photo, the Harman technology, survived and then is thriving to a certain extent. Like, how has that been at the location, seeing the trend and being able, I guess, to see a future for all of this?
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's great to see. We're trying to work closely to try and support that. So we do a lot of marketing focused activity, and that's all about trying to stimulate the market. It's trying to grow the market, the entire market. So it's not just about our products, it's about growing film as a whole. We've seen good growth, really good growth for at least 10 years now in film. So long may it continue. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all have seen that growth, but sometimes we don't see like the whole spectrum, and I guess you see it from, because I find the internet is very focused on location. So like the US, it has a very strong voice towards content creation and like photography, but it's like a worldwide market. It could be shooting. I'm from Spain, so like shooting film in Spain is very different than shooting film in the US, or like the availability and all that. So you working in sales and marketing, how has that been to like challenge the market? Have you been able to open new markets that maybe had closed down with new distribution networks, stuff like that?
Yeah. So we've done all of the above. So we are trying to grow the entire market. We do a lot of marketing stuff, which is designed to try and stimulate the market. So it's about education. So there's lots of people who've come into the market who don't know the basics, and it's no disrespect to them. It's new, it's challenging. There's a lot of technical stuff to learn. So we're trying to help with that. But then we're also trying to help with inspiration. So we have a whole load of videos on our YouTube channel, which is Ilford Photo. So there's the Ilford Inspires. So that's all about getting people inspired and let people have a go, really trying to get them encouraged to do it. And there's also the education videos there as well, which is the fundamentals, the basic. Yeah. And then we're trying to make sure that while we're doing that, we're also trying to then push it out through our distributors worldwide.
Yeah.
So that they are then doing it in their local language, in their local culture. Yeah. And they're trying to do what we're doing, which is to try and encourage more people to have a go.
So in that work you're doing to encourage, the education and motivation of art, like just basically by showing other people's work and broadcasting, you have encouraged, we've talked before, basically, some changes in distribution to people that are more focused with your vision of film photography today. Yeah. How has that been? Like, why does Harman Technology start this conversation of like, yes, we need to change some things because we're noticing a trend that is not aligned maybe the same way as it used to be?
Yeah, well, we have distributors who have been with us, some of them for 20, 30 years. Understandably, as the market declined, their sales dropped. And they focused on other brands where their sales were growing, and that's very understandable. That's the commercial world. Obviously, when things are resurgent, when they're recovering, they need to be doing more. They don't necessarily see the growth. What we're encouraging our distributors to do is to engage, not just to be moving product from one shelf to another shelf. So we want distributors who are now saying, okay, yeah, I want to be part of this. I want to help grow the market. I want to do photo walks. I want to do workshops, etc., etc. So for us, it's very important that we find the distributors who are able to do that, because that's how we grow the market in every country where we are present. So we have 85 plus countries we sell in. So we want this to be a global growth. We don't want it just in the UK or in the US all the big markets. We want everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, that's very good. I mean, I've told you before, but like the job that Ilford has done in marketing content, be it social media, be it photo walks, be it get-togethers. Like there's the U.S. like basically road trip of get-togethers or hangouts. I don't even know what they call them officially, but
Photo walks, yeah.
Photo walks. I mean, photo walks is always, but people end up gathering in a restaurant or a bar. It's very fun. I would love to see it happen in Europe. We mentioned that before, but I'm sure we can figure out how to fix that. And I know there's distributors and other things, but it's really nice to see the focus on sharing what Ilford does, not becoming a company that is like a closed doors. We know there's people in the photography market that it seems that you're screaming at a wall when you try to ask anything. So I appreciate that from your team and yourself.
We're film photographers. We're the same as our users. So, you know, we want to be in the middle of the community. We don't want to be outside of it. So that's key for us.
Yeah, and like the content creation on YouTube with explainer videos and explaining how to use chemicals. And we talked before, because we had a little bit of a talk about the simplicity and the approach of those products that help people enter because maybe they're scared of it. So talk about these products that you've created, or Ilford has created, I guess, to further expand the use of film, paper, chemistry that are not exactly in those three. So I guess not the wet products, but the other side.
It's all driven by one thing, which is trying to make it easier. Trying to make it easier for new people when the infrastructure's not there. So a good example, the pop-up darkroom. There are some fantastic community darkrooms out there, but we also recognize lots of people learn how to use a darkroom when they're at college, when they're at university or college. But what happens when they leave? They don't have access to a darkroom. So how do you solve that? Well, there are community darkrooms, and we're really encouraging those, and we've done videos on our YouTube channel about them.
Yeah.
But the other way is to make it easy for them to make their own
Bring the darkroom to your house, basically.
Yeah. Either you black out the windows or use a pop-up darkroom, or those sorts of ideas. And simplicity is another really good example where it can get very daunting when you have to think of the temperature, the dilution, the timing of all these things that you need to do with your chemicals. So let's just remove some of those variables and make it easy. So each sachet, in simplicity, there's enough. You pour it into a Patterson tank, fill it up to 600 milliliters, which is one tank. You're good to go.
Yeah, you don't have to do any complicated math and any thinking. That's one thing I've noticed. Like, I remember starting a series of videos that I didn't fully continue because I broke down my darkroom, which was literally trying to show people what dilutions for chemicals were.
Yeah.
Because it was like you would grab a chemical that you would love and it'd be like, okay, I use 1+31, and it was like, what does that mean? Like, the simplicity breaks that into like, hey, all you need is A and water.
Yep.
And that's it for developer, and then B and then water. That's it for fixer, and then A, you know, C. Like, it just, I think it's wonderful to see. Obviously, as a high-end user that I know had this stuff, I don't see the point.
Yeah.
But I think the market spectrum has grown, where there's the old farts like myself that like they will shoot a Hasselblad and they know about pulling and pushing and developing, and you know, and then there's people that are loading a camera, watching a video I've made on how to load a camera and then how to unload a camera that might be, how do I get the pictures now? Like, are they in
exactly
there?
that.
Because some people don't understand the full complication of film photography, and there's not that much community anymore at your local store. I know that you guys are working on that, like we mentioned that right now, but like you can't just go to any photography store and be like, hey, can you show me what to do with a roll of film? They might not want to, or we might not sell it.
Yeah, and you know, that's a very important point for us, is we want to support the retailers. We want more retailers. It's fantastic having all of the volume available online, brilliant. But when you've got a problem with your camera, where do you go? You can go to YouTube to a point. Probably the best place to go is your local retailer, where they've got all the knowledge and they'll go, oh, it's just this, click, fixed.
Yeah.
That level of knowledge has to be local, and it can't be covered all on YouTube. Yeah. So you've got to make sure that the infrastructure is there to enable all of that as well, and that's absolutely critical to the success of the whole thing.
I mean, it's important. I like the community part of it. I actually even launched years ago a segment of YouTube that was super film support.
Okay.
And it was like people literally could fill in their question, no question is dumb enough or smart enough or anything, like it's just any question, and I would answer. But it ended up being questions all about gear.
Right.
Like, what camera do I buy? Which is the best medium format camera? Instead of asking me like, hey, I finished the roll, what do I do? and stuff like that. So I had to like drop it slowly because it became just a gear talk.
Yeah, yeah.
But like
yeah, yeah.
I that's my mentality was that I'll become your friendly neighborhood photo store on YouTube, like available, because making a video answering a quick question like that takes me a few minutes.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I understand the beauty of having that. I still think that retailers are obviously the best place to go. We have Chrome here in Hamburg.
Doing a fantastic
They're
job.
doing a fantastic
Yeah,
job. You
yeah.
can go and ask, and they know about films and different emotions and different developing, and they will even develop it for you if you need to. But like, I still think there's a beauty to the internet. Like I always say, the internet saved film photography
Absolutely.
because we used to be
Yeah.
alone, you know, and now we're together.
It's complementary. There's a certain irony. I mean, we use Instagram massively to promote film.
Yeah.
Many people think that's the wrong way around, but it's complementary, and no one's ever said that digital analog are competitors. They should be complementary, and it's the same with the overall technology. It's not
Yes.
a problem.
And you guys do a great job, like I said, on social media. It's like, I'm sure you can ask if needed through social media, any question. Obviously, a YouTube comment's hard to find sometimes, but like Instagram, just reach out, ask on a post, like things like that. People will help.
Yeah, we have a very engaged team. They respond to most messaging. It's
Yeah, yeah.
fantastic.
I mean, it's obviously, as a content creator on YouTube, like you can ask me and I'll try to answer, but I'm one guy that has a different job. So you guys, like I said, marketing and sales, like you guys have done a great job at explaining these things, being able to reference them. They're on the website, easy to find.
Yeah.
And hitting those like SEO terms that people are finding, like how to unload a camera, how to develop, where do I take it. You guys even had the lab map, which I don't know if that's continuing.
Yes, still there. Yeah.
Can you explain more about that? Because I've always seen it, but never really used it, but I would love to make people understand it's there as a tool.
Yeah, I mean, there's a section on our website, and it's called Find Out, and you can find a darkroom, find a lab, find a retailer. It's not complete, and we're always pushing our distributors to give us more and more addresses, but it's meant to be. It's another aspect of make it easy. So, you know, you're on vacation in another country. Where do I buy film? Well, hopefully, if you go there, you might be able to find the nearest one. That's the logic of it and the idea of it. It's just another tool that's available to try and help everyone.
Yeah.
We're not trying to be Google.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, but
hopefully
you've got to help
useful.
as much as you can. And towards the future of Ilford with the market as it's going, do you see the possibility of, you know, more products to fill the line, be it towards entry level, be it towards fine art? Obviously, you guys are very based in fine art photography too. So like, obviously people, the spectrum of starters and the spectrum of like fine art photography.
Yeah.
How is it going? Are you guys trying to keep
Yeah,
developing?
I mean, we're investing. Of course, we're investing. I can't disclose the projects or products that we're investing in at this stage. They're not at that level we can do that yet. But yes, of course, we have an R&D department. We're investing through the R&D department. We're investing in our manufacturing as well. We're just investing multi-millions into new production capabilities. So, you know, that's the first time we've been able to say that in decades, literally decades. So that's all good news. And there is more stuff coming through. I just can't detail it at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable. I asked because I want to ask. And people will say, why didn't you ask?
Yeah. If you don't ask, you don't get. Right?
Yes, exactly. But like having visited the factory last year, which thank you so much for showing us, me and cameraman Tony here behind is, well, assistant for today, showed us. It's amazing what it entails to make film, like from the coding to the sensitizing to the like converting and splicing, and then, you know, finishing up the canister factory. Like it's just mind-boggling. But that's one thing I think people like. You can always market like price go up because electricity goes up, and I know that's been a thing, and it is still a thing.
Big thing.
But also, have Ilford been able to reach a price point that has enabled, like you said, multi-million investment possibilities to improve the lines, to improve efficiency, and so on?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've been in the company 7 years now, and I think there's phases. So we've spent a lot of time investing internally. So that's a lot of the core infrastructure just to make sure that it's working sufficiently, it's more stable for the future. So that's giving us that sort of good basic platform to build and grow again. So now the next phase we're really looking at is growth again. So that's fantastic to be able to say, right, growth is key. And that's why we're investing for the future.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to hear. Like it's one thing that like I said, as somebody that gets to talk to the consumer and the industry, it's hard because you get people complaining, film is getting unaffordable. I can't you do this, and then the industry saying, well, we finally can do these things that we couldn't do before because the prices are actually in a place that can let us do investments into like education and getting new workers because people are getting old and retiring. And there's know-how. We've seen Kodak starting, thankfully, again to like regenerate this and grow it so we have film in decades to come and not just today.
And it's worth saying that, there's been price increases, but we are very, very aware of the affordability challenge. Our price increases are driven by cost. They're not something that we're putting things up at a whim. We are a very energy intensive manufacturing facility, just by the nature of what we do. So we've had to address those costs, but the key message, we're very, very aware of where the price is sitting and how much people's pockets are getting squeezed at the moment. We know that, and we're trying to do our best. We're not putting up for any other reason. It's been a tough 18 months for all of us. Absolutely.
I mean, COVID was not an easy thing for you guys. I know for a fact, no industry did great. I mean, a lot of people picked up a camera again.
Yeah,
I guess in that sense,
yeah.
Demand was kind of there, but like the production complications. I know the cardboard became a huge thing. I don't know even if you guys had that issue.
Yeah, it was
you
huge.
couldn't order 6 weeks in advance. It became like 6 months or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was the knock-on consequences. So, we were closed for 10 weeks, shut everything down. It's the first time that had been shut. Most of the machines have been switched off in 30 years. It was that sort of level. We got through all of that, and then they had all the ripple effects. So, I think it was the Finnish forestry workers went on strike. So that was 6 months later, and as a result of that, we had massive effects on cardboard for 9 months.
Yeah.
So, we're settling down, and a lot of those parts of the supply chain are getting easier. But you ask anyone in this hall, they've all had challenges over the last 2 or 3 years. Energy is just the latest one. So, but we're not trying to complain.
I have to say,
it's looking positive now.
I'm glad to see like Ilford products have been on the shelves all this time, pretty much. Like, we've
tried
had little
best.
pockets of this and price increase. But, it's at the end, it's like what you want to do is be able to buy a roll of film, put it on your camera, and shoot. Another thing that I think Ilford does great is like the availability of the spectrum of products. You have rolls that are finished, you have bulk rolls, you have the ultra large format, which I talk to your factory workers and explain how much they love it but don't love it, because it stops production. Like, I think Ilford has done a very good job of making that like even paper, like bigger boxes of paper. Like, I'm a lover of like the 8x10 multi-grade warm tone fiber in 500 sheets. It was like, I mean, the price is insane because it's a lot of sheets of paper.
Sheets.
But I love that, I could buy that one thing. So thank you for that. Like,
what pleasure.
The ultra large format is one that I love. And can you explain what it is? Because a lot of people might not understand what the ultra large format campaign is.
So obviously there's a whole range of ultra large format cameras that are fairly low in number, but they're out there in the industry. And the whole idea was that we don't want to lose those formats. So you have to have film for those formats. And that's absolutely what we're trying to do here. Economically, it doesn't make sense for us to make it because the batch sizes are too small. So what we do is once a year, we put a request for orders out for a whole range of these films. Everyone around the world who's interested sends in their orders, and within 1 month we'll have one big production campaign. Doesn't make economical sense.
Yeah, but we bulk it.
We bulk it, put them all together, do it as one, and then they get shipped out to all the various customers. And that's basically just trying to keep those formats alive.
Yeah, and one thing that I think is interesting is being an ultra large format photographer myself, and for those who don't know, it basically, instead of 4x5, 8x10, 5x7, it's like 4x10 and 12x20,
Absolutely.
like all these crazy formats.
You name it.
Yes, you name it, it was made. But like these formats, like some manufacturers offer this option, but sometimes there's a bulk order you have to make at once.
Yeah.
And I know there's people enabling and helping in this, but I think Ilford is the beautiful thing is through your network of distributors, which I guess is thanks to sales and marketing, you can kind of like say, hey, I want one box of 25 sheets of 4x10. And they put your name under.
Yeah.
And there's a minimum threshold for some. And I know that
there's a minimum threshold globally.
Yes.
So we have to make sure that globally for that size we hit the minimum. They're not huge, but sometimes we struggle. And we have to go back and say, look, this is still a real problem.
I think some distributors like fill in that little gap and say, I'll order 4 boxes. I'm sure I'll sell them.
I'm sure they'll take some more later in the year. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but that's a beautiful thing that Ilford is doing. But yeah, is there anything that you would want to share about what's happening with Ilford or you would like to see? from the community that is exciting for the time being?
Well, I mean, I think that nothing really to share or say we're seeking. We're exactly the same as the community. We're all enthusiasts. I think it's fantastic to see events like this. So, you know, this show is fantastic. We hope there's more of these sort of shows, because honestly, in the whole show, the busiest place is the analog quarter.
The funnest place too.
It's the funnest place too, and it's great. So more of the same. We need more of these shows. We need more of these events. We need more community get-togethers, because I mean, a lot of these things, it's just about shooting film together and talking, and that, and it just, the community spirit is absolutely fantastic.
And this for B2B is very interesting too, getting to be able to talk to you, not having to like go over to the, like it just helps a little bit, and then people finding problems and solving other problems
totally
is great. But yeah, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
I'll leave the link to your YouTube channel, Ilford's YouTube channel, obviously.
Ilford
You're not a celebrity yet.
Any platform, Ilford Photo. That's the easy way,
So you can see the educational stuff. Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
I hope
Good
to see
talk to you.
Ilford continuing and supporting everybody.
I hope so.
And see you in the next one.
Absolutely.
Bye.